All right, Spanish fundamentals, foundational Spanish, learning medical Spanish with Canopy Learn. We are about to do greetings and questions. Hopefully I do pretty well. I'm gonna try to speed run this, so we'll see how long this actually takes me. I know it says 9% done, but I don't feel like I've done anything here. Okay. Welcome to Lesson 2. In this lesson, you will learn how to respectfully introduce yourself and greet patients. You will also learn how to use two forms of the word to be in Spanish in basic vocabulary and ways to ask questions. Yo soy la doctora Sherman. I'm Dr. Sherman. Mi nombre es Rebecca. My name is Rebecca. Me llamo Rebecca Sherman. I call myself Rebecca Sherman. Now try to introduce yourself using each of the constructions. Yo soy el profesor Cohen. Mi nombre es Gary. Me llamo Gary Cohen. Remember when introducing yourself by job title to use the correct gender. Okay, formal language. In Spanish, there are two ways to address people. Formal and informal. Formally is shown through grammar in addition to the use of polite expression. So using formal versus informal Spanish determines how you form verbs and pronouns that articles you use with them. That articles you use. That grammar seems off in English, but you know, who am I to say? Okay. When addressing a single person, you use to or usted, depending on the level of formality. To is informal and should be used when speaking to a child or a young teenager. Usted, which can be abbreviated as do you still say usted? Or is it whatever? As UD is formal and should be used when speaking to adults, unless the individual tells you otherwise. As a healthcare provider, you will find that Spanish-speaking patients typically address you formally using the usted form of the verb. Throughout this course, dialogue questions will be phrased using this form. When you are speaking to more than one person, the plural form, you, is always ustedes, uds, regardless of the level of formality. Ojo. In some countries, such as Spain, people use an informal plural you, vosotros. The vosotros form was my nightmare when I was taking Spanish in high school. Expressions of greeting. The most standard greeting in Spanish, which is neither formal nor informal, is hola or hello. Here are some common formal ways to greet your patients. Buenos dias, good morning. Buenas tardes, afternoon. Buenas noches, good night. ¿Cómo está? How are you? Note that the time of day greetings always use the plural form. Buenos dias is typically used until noon, and buenas tardes is until sunset. Unlike in English, you can use buenas noches during the evening as a greeting and not just a goodbye at the end of the night. Okay. Escuchar. Let's listen to the dialogue between the provider and the patient. Listen to it a few times and practice saying the different pieces out loud. By the end, you'll be able to say them by yourself. Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
That sounds like the same voice actor that they use in Duolingo. That's crazy. Soy la doctora Sherman. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
Soy la doctora Sherman. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
Me llamo Diego Alvarez.
Me llamo Diego Álvarez.
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy? I don't know that one. It's nice to meet you. Okay.
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Estoy bien, gracias.
Estoy bien, gracias.
Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días.
Soy...
Okay. Ahora te toca a ti. Now it's your turn. See if you can fill in the missing words from the dialogue you just learned. Buenos días. Y soy la doctora Sherman. What is your name? ¿Cómo se llama usted? Es un... It's nice to meet you. Es un gusto conocerle. Estoy bien, gracias. Let's check. We're good. Beautiful. Personal titles are important to show respect and courtesy to Spanish speakers. Each title also has an abbreviation that can be used in writing. Señor or SR, Mr., Señora, Mrs., Señorita, Miss. Okay. When speaking to women, the title Señora, Señorita depend on marriage and age. Younger women and unmarried women of any age are regarded as señoritas, and married women are señoras. However, it's also common and may be seen as a sign of respect to address all middle-aged women and older women as señora, which term to use can depend on culture and individual preferences, so follow the lead of who you are speaking with and how they are introduced by others. Spanish personal titles are not capitalized unless used as a first word in a sentence, and there is always a capital in the abbreviated forms. Interesting. Okay. Flip through all the new vocabulary words. All right. Buenos dias. Good morning. There we go. Hola. Hello. Buenas noches. Good night. Señorita, an unmarried young female. Oh. Bien. Good. Or well, I guess. Buenos tardes. Good afternoon. ¿Cómo se llama? What is your name? Señor, a male. Soy, I am. Señora, a female that is elderly or married. Okay. ¿Cómo está? How are you? Me llamo, my name is. Boom, done. Good. Next lesson. Let's go. All right. Now say each word aloud as you drag and drop it to its corresponding English definition. Mrs. Good morning. Buenos dias. How are you? ¿Cómo está? What is your name? ¿Cómo se llama? Hello. Hola. Mr. Señor. My name is Me llamo. Well, bien. Process of elimination or good evening. Buenas noches. Boom. All right. Good morning. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo se llama? Soy. Me llamo Diego. Hola. Okay. ¿Cómo está hoy? Estoy bien, gracias. Nice, crushing it right now. We're on a roll. Okay, greet your patient. I don't understand. ¿Cómo estás? Oh, gotcha. Buenos días, señor. Buenos días, señor. Oh, that's interesting. Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días, señor.
Okay, I guess. Cool. Okay. Tell the patient your name and ask for his name. So, soy la doctor Cohen. Soy la doctora Sherman. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Soy la doctora Sherman. ¿Cómo se llama usted? La doctora Sherman.
Serman.
Sermon.
Soy la doctora Sherman.
Soy la
¿Cómo se
doctora
llama usted?
Serman.
Sermon. Okay. Tell the patient that it's nice to meet him and ask how he is doing today. ¿Cómo estás? Es un gusto conocerle. Okay. Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo
Es
está
un
hoy?
gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Gusto.
Gusto.
Gusto. Okay. Can we redo that? Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy? Bruh, did it get worse?
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Wait, it said that the break was unexpected, but it's the same break as in the example. Alright, whatever. Close enough. Alright, recommended review section. So what am I reviewing? Alright, so I guess this is the second section of this. So remember, we're trying to get through the whole lesson. So far, we've been working for just a couple minutes, so I feel like we're making good time here. Alright, so subject pronouns are los pronombres personales. Are the words that we use to indicate who is performing an action. The subject pronouns change according to the number, and in some cases formality and gender. As you learned in a previous lesson, if there is at least one male in the group, you should use the masculine form of these pronouns. Review the following pronouns. Note that there may be multiple ways to say the same word. Ojo. You may have noticed that Spanish speakers often omit the subject pronoun when speaking. The pronoun does not need to be said because the verb indicates who the subject is. Singular, yo. Plural, nosotros, nosotras. You, tú, or usted. You, ustedes, if it's plural. He, él, she, ella. They, ellos, they, ellas. Using tú and usted as a reminder, there are two forms of you used to address the person directly. Tú is informal or familiar and is used to address children, most family members, and people that you know well. Usted is formal and is used with adults you do not know well or to show respect to colleagues, superiors, and elders. In the medical setting, you should default to use usted with all adults and tú only with children. For plural, you always use ustedes regardless of gender or formality. Okay. La directora, speaking directly to. Yes. Señorita Gomez. Hey, usted, Margarita y Ana. Juan Reyes. Jose y yo. El director. Una niña. Nice. Okay, cool. Verb conjugation. Just like in English, Spanish verbs Change to master subjects. For example, in English, we say I am, you are, he is. This process is called conjugation. The main non-conjugated form of the verb without a subject is called the infinitive. Here we are talking about the infinitive to be. In Spanish, there are two verbs for to be, ser and estar. Both are irregular verbs that need to be learned individually. Fortunately, there are many other regular verbs that follow a pattern that you can learn and practice. Ser is used to talk about what someone or something is. It is used when describing permanent qualities or characteristics that are an essential part of the subject you are talking about. Here are the forms of the verb ser. Looking at and memorize each of the forms. Y'all know how I feel about that word. Trash. Ojo, the usted form of all verbs is the same as the form for el, ella, and ustedes has the same form as ellos and ellas. Man, like hearing myself read out loud really reminds me of my ADHD and the fact that right now I'm not medicated. Like I can hear myself struggling with like the English reading, which is weird. All right, singular. Yo soy, I am. Plural, nosotros somos. Tú eres, nosotros somos. Nosotros somos. That's weird. It's masculine, but I guess it's because, yeah, I don't know. But they're talking about women. Yeah, whatever. Él es, ustedes son, ella es, ellos son, ustedes es, ellas son. Examples of ser. Oh, it's a conjugation of ser. Got it. Okay. Yo soy enfermera. Enfermera. I am a nurse. Tú eres amable. Él es médico. Usted es generoso. Nosotros somos estudiantes. Ellas son cirujanones. Ojo, the usted form of all verbs is the same as the form for el, ella, ustedes. Has the same form as ellos and ellas. Okay. They are patients. I don't understand. What am I supposed to do here?
Ellas son pacientes.
Oh, based on what you've learned, fill in the conjugation of ser. Ah.
Ellas son pacientes.
So, hello? Oh, I'm supposed to type. Okay.
Yo soy el Dr. Hayes.
Nosotros somos.
Nosotros somos enfermeros.
Ella. Ella es.
Ella es María.
Usted. I'm not sure.
Usted es el especialista. Usted es el especialista.
Es. Tú eres.
Tú eres Luis.
Nice. Let's check it. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, let's see. It is used for temporary conditions such as emotions, moods, physical states. For example, you've already learned that como está is used to ask how someone is doing. Estar is also used for locations of a person or thing, even if they are permanent. Here are the forms of the verb estar. Look at and memorize each of the forms. Okay, singular. Yo estoy, tú estás, él está, ella está, usted está. Nosotros estamos, nosotras estamos, ustedes están, ellos están, ellas están. Try reading the following examples aloud. Yo estoy cansado, tú estás triste, el paciente está en casa, usted está de buen humor.
Usted está de buen humor.
Nosotros estamos aquí para el chequeo general.
Nosotros estamos aquí para el chequeo general.
Okay. Los ojos del niño están irritados.
Los ojos del niño están irritados.
Okay. So gotta work on the rolling. Alright, let's see. Now it's your turn to turn the conjugated verb into estar. ¿Dónde está? ¿Cómo estás? Nosotros, las niñas. Nosotros estamos. El laboratorio. Si tú estás, yo estoy. Si presentación arterial está. Check. What was this one? Okay, how are you? There we go. Nice. All right. Sarah's used for inherent characteristics. La recepcionista es alta. Time and date. Hoy es el 15 de mayo. I said 15 in English. What was that? 15 de mayo son las 2:20. Oh, we're back. We're back with the unresponsive page. All right. Origin and nationality. Marco es de Puerto Rico. Es puertorriqueño. Occupation. Soy terapeuta. By contrast, a star is used for the following reasons. Current physical and emotional states. Cree que puede estar embarazada. Embarazada. Do you think you may be pregnant? Okay. Estamos convencidos. Can I play this? Like, geez, how do you say that? Okay. Geographic or physical location of people and places. El hospital está en Boston. Están en la sala de espera. Which would you use? Using what you just learned to decide whether you would use ser or star. Oof. I'm bad at this, so we'll see. To say where are you from? ¿Dónde está? Okay. To say you are concerned about a patient. Say your colleagues. So I don't do. Okay. Okay. 50-50 shot. I did better than half. Okay. To say today is Wednesday, Sarah, but why? That's one thing that I don't like is where like it just allows you, and especially when it's 50-50, right? Like you can't get it wrong if you already got it wrong. So you just change your answer. But it doesn't tell me why. Hello. I would like to advance. That's a lie. But we continue. Dang. Okay. How much more of those do I have? All right. I think I'm going to stop there. So where do we end up? 11% complete. Jesus. Okay, 2 out of 3. Quiz 2. Let's just get after it. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Interrogative words are question words that are used to request specific information about a patient's background or condition. Interrogative words are placed at the beginning of a direct question, and they can also be used in indirect questions. There are 2 important rules for using interrogative words in Spanish. There are 2. Oh man, this software costs a lot of money to be having typos like this. Like, what are we doing? There are 2 important rules. Whatever. All right. They always have a written accent to distinguish them as questions or words. Direct questions require question marks at the beginning and the end. All right. For example, ¿qué quiere tomar? No sé qué quiere tomar. What do you want to drink? I don't know what you want to drink. Okay. You can also form questions without using the interrogative words. To ask yes/no questions, simply take an ordinary statement and raise your intonation at the end and show you are asking questions. Wait, can I share my thoughts? Share your thoughts with Canopy community. I don't want to share it with the community. I want to share it with the developers and be like, hey, maybe proofread your stuff. Okay. Let's see. 4 questions. TNA diabetes. You have diabetes. Yes, I do, actually. So that's fun. TNA diabetes. Do you have diabetes? All right. Another common way to ask questions is to use a question tag to ask for the confirmation or denial of a statement. The question tag goes at the end of the statement. All right. Listen to these common question tags and memorize. Their spelling below. Cierto. No es cierto. No. Verdad.
Su hija no come alimentos con gluten, ¿verdad? Se siente mejor, ¿no? ¿Cierto? ¿No es cierto? ¿No? ¿Verdad?
Okay. ¿Cuál es el motivo de su visita? Su visita. ¿Cuál es el motivo de su visita?
¿Cuál es el motivo de su visita? ¿Cuál es el motivo de su visita?
Visita. Jesus, that's hard. All right. This page on responsiveness is about to make me lose it. Cool. Tengo fuertes dolores de cabeza. Has a headache? Yeah. ¿Cuántas horas duran generalmente los dolores de cabeza? How many hours have you had your headache?
¿Cuántas horas duran generalmente los dolores de cabeza?
Oh, how long do you have? How long do they last? ¿Cuántas horas? How many hours? Okay. 1 o 2 horas, 1 or 2. ¿Cuándo puede programar una cita esta semana, por favor. So when did it start? Oh, when can you schedule an appointment? ¿Qué día preferiré?
¿Qué día prefiere?
Prefiere. What day do you prefer? El jueves,
El jueves.
Thursday. Tiene una lista de los medicamentos que toma. What? Or do you have a list of the medications that you take? Yes. Sí, gracias por su ayuda. Yes, thank you for your help.
¿Cuál es el motivo de su visita?
This last lesson is starting to fatigue me. Let's see. Ahora te toca a ti. Now it's your turn. See if you can fill in the missing words in the dialogue that you just learned. All right. What is the reason for your visit? Es el motivo de su... ¿Cuál es? How many hours? ¿Cuántas horas? When can you schedule? ¿Qué puede? What day? ¿Cuándo día prefieren? ¿Cuándo puede? Yeah, whatever, we'll try it. Now. Wait. ¿Cuándo? ¿Qué día preferiré? Yeah, okay. First, flip through all the new vocabulary words in this section. Cuando, when, donde, where, qué, what, cuántos, how many, como, I actually don't know, how, verdad, right, por qué, why, quién, who, cuánto, how many, or how much. No es cierto. Isn't that right? ¿Cuál? What? Which? ¿Cuándo? How many? ¿Cuándo? When? ¿Dónde? Where? ¿Qué? What? ¿Cuántos? How many? ¿Cómo se llama? What is your name? What? How? Verdad. I'm not sure. Right. Okay. ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Quién? I'm not sure. Who? ¿Cuánto? How many? No es cierto. Is that right? Is it cuál? What and which? All right, I'm struggling. K is what? Está el dolor? Where is the pain? Okay, how are you feeling today? Se siente hoy? el doble en una escala del uno el 10. How much does it hurt on a scale of 1 to 10? Le duele en una escala del 1 al 10. ¿Cuánto? Es su próxima cita. Puede recolgar el medicamento. Parte de su cuerpo siente hinchada. All right. In this lesson, you may have noticed some Spanish capitalizations and punctuations that is different from English. The first letter of every sentence in Spanish is capitalized. Proper nouns, specific names of people, cities, countries, and institutions are all capitalized just like in English. Unlike English, Spanish does not capitalize days of the week, months, languages, nationalities, religions, personal or professional titles except in an abbreviated form. As you have seen, Spanish questions start with an upside down question mark. Spanish exclamations also have an opening upside down exclamation mark and a closing exclamation mark. For example, ojo, hola, hasta luego. Okay. In addition to the greeting introductions, listen to the following words and repeat each one.
Por favor.
Por favor. Muchas gracias. De nada. Perdón. Lo siento. Hasta luego. ¿Puede hablar con usted, please? Por la espera. I'm sorry. Goodbye, doctor. Hasta luego, doctor. Okay. Thank you for your help. Gracias. Excuse me, perdón. You're welcome. De nada. All right, so now we're in the quiz. So this is quiz 2, I guess. Buenos dias, señor. Wait, this is morning. Okay, good. I was going to say, could be noches, could be tardes. Okay. La doctora soy. ¿Cómo está hoy? Me llamo es. Estoy bien. Gracias. Listen to the conversion that follows. You may listen as many times as you like, then mark whether each sentence is true or false. The conversation takes place in the morning.
Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días.
Soy la doctora Sermen. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
Me llamo Diego Álvarez.
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Estoy bien, gracias.
Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días.
Soy la doctora Sermen. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
Me llamo Diego Álvarez.
Es un gusto conocerle. ¿Cómo está hoy?
Estoy bien, gracias.
Just kind of YOLO'd that, if I'm being honest. Okay. With whom is it appropriate to use usted? Wait, usted. What determines whether to use señorita or señora? Age, professional status, familiarity, age, and marital status. What is the appropriate? When is it appropriate to use ustedes when speaking to a group? What is required to do at the beginning of a question in Spanish? Right, upside down question mark. Okay. Which words are capitalized in Spanish? Countries, personal titles, nationalities, languages. Countries, I'm gonna say, just because they're proper nouns, I'm not sure. Choose the correct form of ser or estar. El Nino. Los. Cuando. Su próxima cita. Cuando está. When's your next appointment? Cuando es su próxima? Cuando es, yeah, I don't know, whatever. Choose the best translation for each sentence. Marco y Elena son okay. My child is very sick. Mi hijo es mi hijo está mi hijo es muy enfermo. Está muy enfermo. Okay. My daughter and I are in the hospital. Mi hija y yo están en el hospital. Mi hija y yo somos en el hospital. Mi hija y yo estamos en el hospital. Mi hija y yo son en el... Okay, somos... Yeah. My mom is from Argentina. Mi madre estoy de Argentina. Mi madre soy de Argentina. Mi madre está de Argentina. Mi madre es de Argentina. Estoy... I am struggling with this. Okay. Raw reveal hint. Why are you here? Porque es su cumpleaños. Cuando está el laboratorio? Where's the lab? Donde mano está hinchada? Which es su doctor? Cuando, quién, cuando. Está Sra Cabrera. Oh. Como. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Please, por favor. Good afternoon. Buenos tardes. You're welcome. I'm sorry. Lo siento. Goodbye. Good night. Hello? This feels like a problem. Don't tell me that I have to do this all over again. I'm going to be big mad. Cool. And I can't refresh or interact with this. Well, for whatever reason, I guess broke, which seems to be an issue. Overall, like, the lessons, fine. Medical Spanish, fine. This software system, do better. Like, the fact that we're crashing pages, freezing mid-exam, I need to figure out once I get back in here if it's going to allow me to pick up where I left off, but I doubt it, because when I closed, it said you're going to lose all of your unsaved material. But still, like, when you have a student that's working through things and you're charging a fee for your service, maybe make sure that it works, because stuff like this where I invest time and then it's wiped out is pretty infuriating. But that's all I have for today. So Canopy Learn, Medical Spanish, and some Dr. Cohen opinion pieces, I guess. Let's see. All right. Take care. I hope y'all are doing better than I am.